No, joining me now is Trade and Tourism Minister Don Farrell. Thanks very much for your time.
Good to be with you, Tom.
You said this week all tariffs should be lifted by China. Is that the pass mark on these thawing relations?
Well, we have four really serious trade blockages with China. One relates to wine, another one relates to barley, meat and, of all things, crayfish. The issues with that blockage are different with different products. We need to find a way through with all of those four products to make sure that we can get our produce into China, but the Chinese people can get the benefit of the wonderful produce that we produce.
But Australia's claim all the way through is that the various claims that have been made by the Chinese government are nebulous, and this is a punishment, right? So until all four of those are resolved in some way, is it not a true thawing? Is there still a bit of ice involved in the relationship?
Look, we saw the triumph of diplomacy a couple of weeks ago when the Prime Minister met for the first time in 6 years with the President of China. The relationship is thawing. You're correct there. We want a stabilised relationship with China, and we're determined to do it. Last night, I had a chat with the Chinese ambassador at DFAT. There was a very positive vibe with the ambassador. I'm hopeful that as time goes by, one by one, we can resolve all of those outstanding blockages.
Did you get any indications last night from the ambassador?
No, it didn't. We didn't get into details, but it was a very warm and friendly discussion.
Did you get any list of 14 grievances mentioned?
No grievances mentioned, and I didn't mention our 4 grievances either.
Okay.
But it was a warm and friendly meeting where I made it clear that I'm prepared to meet at any time, anywhere, to resolve these outstanding issues.
Several reports this week that the Australian government could look to limit Chinese ownership or involvement in mining our rare earth minerals. Did that come up in your meeting with the ambassador?
No, that wasn't discussed at all, and I don't think we were just talking about a single company with that discussion, single country. I think the whole issue of our valuable critical minerals and rare earths is something that we need to have a discussion about in Australia, and of course that's why the Treasurer has put it on the agenda.
So you're not picking up any offence so far from China given that conversation started? No.
There was no concerns raised about that issue.
Okay.
Look, the Americans have introduced a piece of legislation, the Inflation Reduction Act. It's going to significantly change the way in which we deal with the issue of critical minerals and rare earths.
Okay.
And it's also going to be important in my discussions with the Europeans about a free trade agreement.
One thing not mentioned amongst tariffs there, a massive drop-off in Chinese students enrolling in our universities. We had COVID interruption, but it's still way down. It hasn't gone up at all since then. Is that a deliberate strategy as well by the Chinese government, do you believe?
Look, in fairness, I don't think it is,
It's
Tom.
not? Okay.
Look, we've managed to get...
I know they're living in a different sort of COVID regime, so...
Yeah, look, and I think that's the immediate problem. The reality is Australians can't really get into China at the moment, and Chinese, whether they're students or tourists, can't get out. So I don't think it's a strategy as such.
Right. There is online, but you have no indication at all that there's a deliberate strategy to reduce student numbers.
And I don't believe there is. No.
Okay. India trade deal done. Is it fair to say it's not as comprehensive as we would like? It's still a pretty protected economy?
Yes. Look, that's a fair assessment, Tom, but all the indications are from the Indians that they want the relationship to go further. I'll be meeting with my counterpart early in the new year to have a second round of negotiations.
Right.
And I'd be pretty hopeful that as a result of those discussions, we've built up a very good relationship with my Indian counterpart, Minister Goyal. He's keen to progress the relationship, and so are we.
So it's a question of get something done.
Yeah.
Show that the Earth's not going to fall in and then really press harder. This is far from mission accomplished.
Look, no, you're right. There's still plenty of work to be done. I don't think even the previous government would have been claiming that it's finished business there.
Do they get credit for getting a lot of this work done, the coalition? Important trade deal?
They get credit for the agreement, of course, but what they should have done and what they didn't do was process these agreements through our political system. And that's the thing that...
it all takes time, doesn't it?
Well, it takes time, but they should have started the process and I believe completed the process under the previous government. We were given that job, and despite claims by the now opposition that we couldn't do it, we did do it.